America has long been considered a nation of youth. According to the Association on Aging, in colonial times, half of the nation's inhabitants were under 16. Even by 1900, life expectancy was only 47. Historically, most never reached old age as we now know it. Today, 57% of our population is 30 or older. The most rapid increase of older Americans is expected in the next 30 years as the baby boom generation reaches age 55. This will mean an increase from 55 million people to 95 million. These 95 million people, who constitute 1/3 of the total U.S. population, will enter the retirement era. We typically prepare for retirement by allocating finances and determining where we will retire, but do little beyond these areas to plan for several decades of time spent after retirement. The societal change in attitude concerning the approval of gambling has resulted in the majority of Americans being involved in some form of gambling. This increased participation in gambling also includes the older population. One only need visit a gaming facility of any kind, casino, bingo game, or lottery ticket line, to realize that large numbers of seniors are participating. The gaming industry acknowledges that a large part of their customer base is made up of seniors.
One of the things that has attracted tremendous appeal are the new gambling venues. I don't have to walk. I can go and sit. If I'm in a wheelchair, if I'm on crutches, I can have my cane right next to me and I can sit. They come to me. They bring me my beverages, they bring me my change. I don't have to go anywhere. It'll all come right to me.
With the expansion of gambling throughout our country in its various forms, it certainly is readily available and accessible for seniors today. As a society, we lay out the plan for work, life, and retirement, and we are to work a given number of years or to a certain age, and we are then to move away. It usually includes a geographical move for most of us, because we understand that that's the way the process takes place.
So we're now looking at an adult generation that's confronted with how do we cope with this?
Some of our seniors get heavily involved in gambling because they're bored with lots of time on their hands after retirement, or after a spouse has passed away that they have spent their entire adult life with, and they don't have a large social network to draw support from. We find many of those folks in the casinos trying to deal with the loss, the grief, and the time.
At the beginning, we seemed to have been able to control it in a sense. We gambled only with what we took with us and could afford to lose at that time. And we were actually pretty proud of ourselves because we knew about gambling addiction. We knew about people who had a problem with it. And we certainly didn't think that we had one. We ended up doing things against our will that we chose not to do, or we thought we could choose. It wasn't the money that I lost. I was always going to get more money, and I was always going to win more money. It wasn't the money. In fact, I don't even think that I gambled for the money at the end. I was gambling for the feel of it, you know, for the action of the gamble. I found out that the things that I worked for so hard with this other 12-step program is things that, as far as getting to like myself and being honest and feeling good about myself, adopting principles that weren't mine, coming to believe in a power greater than myself, and allowing those things to help me do for me what I couldn't do for myself. I was losing all that with the way that I felt about myself over gambling. And I didn't even have to pick up a drink to do this. All I had to do was get caught up with another compulsion that I didn't identify. And this is what happened. I always thought if I ever had a problem with gambling, that I would be able to do something about it before it got the best of me, because there was no drug involved, as in alcohol or in drugs with drug addiction. But what I found out that there was a drug, and it's an inside drug. It's that adrenaline. It's the in the thing that gets me going, and makes me go further than I'm willing to do.
Gambling was not something that I myself could have ever started. My friend was putting $1 on a scratch off and won $50. I believe so naturally. I didn't think that was too good. So I decided to try to buy several tickets myself, and lucky me, I won, which is bad.
I happened to stop by the local grocer, and he asked me when was I going to pay the bill, or part of the bill. And I said, what bill? Because I thought the bills were paid. And he said, no, it hasn't been paid for over a year.
You win, and then of course you spend more. And then you pick up other numbers like today's a birthday, an anniversary, or somebody died. Any little thing. You know, if you start playing those numbers every week, and in some cases twice a week, and scratch-offs in between.
She had 11 credit cards maxed out. She was getting those bills mailed to her girlfriend's house.
Before I'd let my husband know, I would try to kill myself. And then the next thing, he'd be in the hospital and with me, and I would wake, and I would be quite upset because I wasn't dead.
She would go through the cycles where she would stop for a while and then she would start back up again. I guess she just couldn't control it. It's difficult to find out because they lie, they cheat, and they scheme.
The only thing I ever thought of was the numbers in my head.
It's not like she was drunk. That way you could see her stagger, or if she was on drugs, she would probably act a little erratic. But this is something you just can't see. These are normal people, and they act normal, and everything is normal, but they just can't control the gambling.
You will sink as low as you possibly can. I never could have ever thought that I would have taken from the church, because, I mean, people don't do that. I was the secretary. I handled the money for our nursery school, money if it was cash, and if it came across my desk, which it very often did, I would use it. If money didn't come across my desk, I would take it out of the fund that I wrote checks for.
It hit the family hard because this is a lot of money that I had to come up with.
I was fired.
I went to the minister and we talked, and he said he wouldn't press charges.
It was very scary.
When I asked how much she owed, she said, well, I don't really know, but it's probably around 90,000 or maybe 100,000. Imagine.
I hurt so many people, and most of all, I hurt myself. I was sick, but didn't realize this until I finally went for help.